Recording in progress.
Morning, Chair.
Good morning, Vuyogazian. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Chairperson, and you?
I'm fine.
Yeah. Yes, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members. Yeah, we can start. Yes.
But it's not yet 1:30. Let's wait for 1 minute. Yeah, it's 1:30. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, the minister and the team from the department and our guests in the system. We want to take this opportunity to welcome you all to this meeting. Can we get agenda being flagged, Vuyogazi? Honorable members, good morning.
Good morning, Chair. And how are you?
I'm fine. It's just strenuous where we are. Hey, this process, Zenu, kunzima.
Can you see it, Chairperson?
Not yet.
Okay. Can you see it, Chair?
No, I can see your computer.
You?
Item on your computer.
Okay. What's happening now?
It's Koliswa in the meeting. Can she help?
I don't think so, Chair.
Okay. But honorable members, today we have only one item. Now is now it's I can see it, Vuyogazi.
Okay, Chair.
Yeah. This is the agenda for today, honorable members. Can I get Vuyogazi, can we put number 5? Oh, number 6. Number 6 as a program of the second of the program. Program of the third quarter. Third quarter, ne? Yeah. Third term, yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, honorable members. Let me take this opportunity to thank the minister.
Okay.
Mute your mic, Vuyogazi. Let me take this opportunity to thank the minister for availing herself for this meeting, and we want to take this opportunity to appreciate that and welcome you, Minister, and your team. Honorable members, again to yourselves, having allowed us to use your constituency day to have this meeting. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Can I request that before we start with our meeting, we observe a moment of silence for meditation and or prayer.
Morning, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, honorable members and the team from Minister. I can see former Minister is ready. It's even disrupting our prayer.
My
Wa-
I'm sorry, Chair.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome to this meeting. Can we then request Vyogazi so that Vyogazi to give us a notice of apologies?
Good morning, members and Chairperson. Chairperson, I didn't receive anything.
Okay. Thank you very much, Vyogazi. Let me again welcome everybody to this meeting and request members to adopt the agenda as presented. Can I get the mover for the adoption of the agenda?
Mvana, Chairperson.
Mvana, Honorable Mvana moves.
I
Can
move,
get
I
the
move for the
second?
adoption.
Thank you, Honorable Mvana. Can I get the second?
Take a second, Chair.
Take a second. Thank you very much, honorable members. I've already welcomed all of you. I can just indicate that I hope all of us were keeping ourselves safe. We were told that we are now in the third wave. We need to be very careful as honorable members as we do our constituencies. As the ruling party in particular, we have lost a lot of members and we're losing on daily basis our people, and let's keep the families and let's keep the families in our prayers so that we can survive this third wave, and ourselves, we should continue to educate our people to sanitize, keep distance, avoid public gatherings where we can contact this disease, and ourselves as we move around, continue to join government and educate everybody about the required
look into the irregularities that were reported by the Auditor General and various other institutions. The SIU came to Parliament and reported extensively on some of their findings. We had, in the meantime, in terms of the powers that are given to the Minister, established an advisory committee which would serve as a disciplinary committee to ensure that we are able to respond to the concerns of the Auditor General over a period of time. The Auditor General has been very emphatic on the fact that he is worried about the fact that there is no consequence management in many of the departments, and in particular in the Department of Water and Sanitation. In our interaction with the Auditor General, he had said our biggest problem is there is no follow-through with his findings on matters that he finds are absolutely essential. This has the effect of eroding the Auditor General's confidence in our ability to run our department efficiently without any of the problems creeping up on a regular basis. In my budget vote on the 23rd of July, I indicated to the Portfolio Committee that we had established an entity that would be able to deal with these matters. And I said, I quote, "We have heeded your calls to root out corruption in the department, because that is what you would say on a regular basis in Parliament, and we will report to you on this. In order to stabilize the department, we had to root out corruption. The acting Director General at that particular time, General Changana, established a stabilization committee that would make sure that while we have a disciplinary component, the matters that come out of the disciplinary process, we will be able to ensure that the department is stable, because the people who would be investigating would leave an unstable environment behind, as we call them on, to come and testify. So we established these two wings to make sure that the department is kept stable and running. Within the committee is a disciplinary committee unit dealing with, at that point, 166 cases emanating from the Auditor General's annual reports over a number of years. These cases are in an advanced stage and ongoing, as we put in place the necessary support structures to ensure that there's no disruption of the work in the department. The committee is taking disciplinary action against officials who are implicated in forensic investigation reports, as per the recommendations that were made in those reports. The outcomes of such cases following disciplinary action are as follows. 97 officials are under investigation, 16 officials were found not guilty, and 24 officials have on their own resigned. All of this has been given to a committee that is headed by former Minister of Minerals and Energy, Susan Shabangu, who also happens to be the chair of the disciplinary committee in various other places, because she's probably known as a disciplinarian. But nonetheless, she has with her all the necessary support that she needs. She will detail who she has with her. She has all the necessary support with her. And on a regular basis, I have meetings with them to find out if they have enough support to provide them with the wherewithal to carry through their investigation. They have had given me a preliminary response report, Chairperson, and I'm very impressed with the work that they're doing. And I would like to use this in Cabinet to show that it is possible for us in government to clean up our own house without waiting for investigative arms of government to point out to us that we need to do what needs to be done. They will then detail to you their terms of reference, Chairperson. They will detail to you what they have done. They will detail to you what they still have to do. They will detail to you also what support they need, both from the Portfolio Committee and from the department. The department would no doubt be in a difficult position because they are the affected party, which is why we had put in place a stabilization committee. However, I think we are now at an advanced stage where they will be able to have overcome some of the problems. Any other problem that they have, they report directly to the minister and directly to Parliament, as they're doing now. The work of the SIU, the Hawks, the whole justice system has given to us a host of irregularities that should have been dealt with over a period of time, but we're doing so now. We were also supported by a report that came from the panel of advisors of the minister, a report that was given to an NGO organization dealing with the extent of what the panelists thought was a gross corruption. The document has been circulating, and I believe members of Parliament have got it, and it is termed water down the drain, money down the drain, something like that. So we responded to all of those things that we thought had an adverse impact on our performance, had an adverse impact on outcomes of the Auditor General, had an adverse impact also on our delivery and the perception that society has of us. I'd like now to give over to former Minister Susan Shabangu to introduce her team and take us through how far they have gone with the cases that have been given to them. Thank you, Chairperson. I'm having load shedding problems, so from time to time, I will either speak or be on the screen, but I'm not able to do both right now.
Thank you, Minister. Ms. Susan Shabangu.
Thank you, Minister, for this opportunity. Thank you, Chairperson Ne Rosina Siminya, members of the committee. I see that my old colleague is here. May I take this opportunity to greet her. Grace Teke, I'm missing you.
Thank
All
you.
all members, I can see some of them, I can't see them. Sibui Selwe, Sherin, Noluvuyo, Sheli Mkotu, Piwe, Noli, Kunta, Nancy Sishwai, Parliament as a whole, and all members of the Portfolio Committee. Thank you for granting us this opportunity as we used to be referred to as the Stabilization Committee because we were different committees or subcommittees. Since
Can
the
we see
beginning
your
of
face?
this,
You can switch it off later.
load shedding was South Africa, man.
Okay.
Like,
Yes. No, we can see you. You can switch off your camera and proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Machuni, for that. So we were a stabilization committee beginning of 2019, 2020. And where we are now, we focusing on the DC, which was a subcommittee. But the minister felt that we need to focus on issues of irregularities, disciplinary matters in the department. So that's where we are today. And what we will be presenting to the committee, we are presenting progress reports. We know that we haven't been able to come to the committee for a while. The last time we presented was last year. And this is progress which we've made so far. I must indicate, Chairperson, it's not been an easy process. It's been very, very tough, but we are happy that working with the department, we are able to make progress, but also to say that where we are, we have managed to push some of the things. Just to give you an overall before getting into the actual presentation, Chairperson, I must say we are happy, there's progress, but what is key through this process of the DC without relying on the department, we have managed to brought on board through the minister, presiding officers who will be chairing the hearings. And we also have managed to get the initiators. When we talk about initiators, we're talking about what we'd refer to as prosecutors. So we have those kind of cases very soon, starting from next week. We're not going to reveal the information now, but starting from next week, we are starting with our cases and the challenges that we're dealing with with senior management in the department. So that's what overall we are doing, and we are seeing progress. Here, we're not talking about matters where we're talking a chairperson about 50 million. We're talking about billions of the departments which have gone missing. But that is why you'll find that in the report, there's also involvement of SIU in trying to make sure that we can retrieve the monies which have gone missing, because a lot of irregularities have occurred in this department. So going to the presentation, when you look at the introduction, we're talking about performance and disciplinary and consequence management, which normally the disciplinary committee tends to look, I'm sorry, not the disciplinary, the portfolio committee will always expect the department to, where there ill discipline and lack of performance, they will always expect consequence management. And we are
Can't see
here.
the presentation, ma.
Ibalekile.
It has never been here.
It has not been sent to you. Oh, Thixo Sebawuthi. Uyabona machweni manje. Phela mina ungakhohlwa ukuthi i-technology idlala ngami man. Abanthumelelanga. Chairperson, didn't they send you the presentation?
No, we've not received anything, Minister.
Oh, Chair, I've got one. They just sent me now, but I'm not sure whether I must flag it.
Can you flight it, my dear?
Okay.
Please do, Yokazi.
Swazi, we are a flight. Thank you very much. As it you go to flight 5. Swazi.
It's not yet here.
I saw it a little bit. Okay.
It was a wrong thing that they've put on. It was a program. You guys, we see your computer, things on your computer. We don't see the presentation.
The presentation. We'll try and fix it, Chair. My apology for that. I had thought you had it because I saw the agenda at the beginning, so I assume that you have it.
Yes,
Here,
you can see it.
okay, can we go to page 5? Slide 5, yeah, 5,
Is
4.
it on the slideshow, Vyokazi?
Can you see that, Chair? We've got
Yes.
it now. Yes.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairperson.
I'm not sure. Let me check with members because it's, yes, now we can see. Okay, let's go to, yes.
Page 5. You've gone to page 6. Thank you. If you look at slide 5, we have the issue where we talk about internal control systems, which were part of the challenges which the department had. And that led to a lot of unqualified audit opinions in the water trade account entity and the water trade entity account. And then the other one, we look at that, these are findings of the AG, and there were no new material irregularities. That's a reflection that the department is on track, even if they're not there yet. If you look at the next slide, 6, which is slide 6, in 2019 to 2020, there were proactive work carried out by internal audit, which is the department unit, which also managed to circumvent a lot of irregular expenditure too. And if you look at that, they've managed to deal with the issue of 1.3660 billion rands in the department. So that's progress reporting. And during 2020 to 2021, the same effort were also averted, where at least that led to saving a cost of about 750 million rand. The department went on an awareness campaign in making sure that they avoid a lot of irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. That would include fraud and corruption in the department. So that's what the department started doing. And then when we move on to page 7, You look at the different headings, we're talking about summary of improper expenditure, and we talk about material irregularities as per AG's report, forensic audits.
The person who's moving the slides, yeah. Okay. Proceed. I'm sorry, former minister.
All right, okay. So I thought I will take you through this. It's the investigations, and these are the headings which are covered by that investigation. It's 1 to 7 section. So maybe I don't need to go through it. Then we go to section 1, which talks about section 1, summary of improper expenditure. And that's page 9. If you look at that, we talk about unauthorized expenditure when it comes to year 2020 to 2021, which is the main account. These are the two accounts of the department. You have main account, and then you have WTE, what they normally refer to as water trading entity. And arising out of the main account, if you look at that, at the bottom on the main account, we have an unauthorized expenditure, which is about 641 million, 109. And so when we go through that, we should go to then a slight progress on irregular expenditure condonations. These are the condonations which the department had asked from Treasury. If you look at that, we talk about Guyani Water Service Project. We talk about upgrade of the Tugela water, and then we talk about Goede Trove scheme. And then there's desalination plant in Richards Bay. And all these, when you look at all these, they have, there are comments about where with the charge sheets. One of the hearing is going to commence this coming week from the 14th. That will be the beginning of the DC of the 2 employees of the department. So that's where, next slide. Progress on irregular expenditure and condonation. Support and maintenance of sub-ECC. Disciplinary processes are being finalized now in July, in line with Treasury recommendations. And the next one, we have unlimited SEP license. Those are 2 issues. They're not the same. If you look at them, it's 2 different against the same service provider, but we've got 2 issues against SEP. And the disciplinary proceedings are also in progress. With number 2, we intend also to litigate on the people or on SEP because a lot of money has gone to them. Item 3, IT service to the department, which is, if you look at it, it's also linked to SEP. So all these matters are linked to SEP, but because of the different irregularities, hence they've been divided, they're not all together. Where again, if you look at it, it's all big monies. If you look at the service to the department which has cost us about 250 million, 495 million. Yeah, sometimes investigations are being processed in this particular process. And what we've done, we've involved the Chief Procurement Officer. And Chief Procurement Officer is from Treasury, by the way. And we have the 4th one, which is security guarding services. Again, we find that They were done irregularly, and again, in line with further investigations through the National Treasury recommendations, that's what we're looking at. Water on Leaks project, if you look at that, I think water on leaks, most of us are aware or well conversant with that. It's a matter which has been there for a while, but where we are now, we are busy with disciplinary proceedings, which are to be finalized in line with Treasury. Because these are big monies, if you look at it. And in this particular area, when we talk about water leaks, if you look at the monies, it's huge monies. And what we have done, it's also involving SIU, which is helping us, because if we don't go the route of the SIU, we will not be able to recover all these monies which are here. And the next one, very closely related to war on leaks, it's bucket eradication. We all know about the project which was started a while ago. And again, the disciplinary proceedings are on right now. So those are the projects which DC is proceeding, and we are positive that by end of this year, we'll have succeeded in concluding all these matters. Customer relations management, this is a project which was done. It's about call centers. It's the call center matter. It's the process. DC is also proceeding currently, and we are dealing with that in line with National Treasury recommendation. Then we go to slide 11. Slide 11. It's 11. No, it's 11. Push about 11. 12. Can we go to page 12? No, there's page 11. This one. Travel.
Can we please move to next slide?
Next slide, please. Where we're talking about progress on irregular expenditure. Thank you very much. Condonation. These are some of the processes which the department is involved in making sure that we get condonation, because some of the issues we realize that whilst there might be things which were not properly followed, but the monies or finances were spent properly in the department. So when you look at the on irregular and the condemnation with financial advisory services, the court case and disciplinary hearings are to be finalized in line with the recommendations by the Chief Procurement Officer. One employee who is still employed in the public service has been transferred to the Gauteng department. As we all know, that the employer, because he's still within the department, the employer can still deal with the matter and discipline the person. So the matter is still there, and the person will have to come and face the charges. That matter is being addressed. Travel management services, where that's about 10 million, which again was not properly accounted for. Again, disciplinary processes are in place when it comes to travel management. Payment process without generating purchase orders. DC again is in progress in line with the National Treasury regulations. So if you look at all these matters which progress on irregular expenditure and condonation, and you look at the bottom, it's all about the amounts. When you go to the main account, you have the 6 billion, And then when you go to water trading account, you have 3 billion, and the total is about 9,700 million. So as you can see, that's the amounts over roughly, when we round it up, about 10 billion, which is owed to the department. And these are the monies which we're referring to. Chairperson, can we go to the next page? Next page, the root causes analysis on improper expenditure. We had to look at why are these things happening in the department. You talk about risk areas identified, SCM challenges. I'm not going to say a lot there. I think the department is very much aware about the challenges faced by the department. Inadequate awareness, we spoke about it, that the department currently is involved in making sure that there's awareness. People must not say we didn't know, making people to be alive to the regulations and what are the policies of the department. And then we talk about contract.
Duke, it looks like the minister has been cut off. Would you like to continue, please? Duke?
Minister Duke is connecting with the chair, with Mam Shabang.
So why don't you continue then?
Okay, yes. Let me
you.
continue. Thank you, Minister. To the portfolio committee members, we have not been properly introduced. My name is Welekazi Dukuza. I'm part of the committee members, with the committee being chaired by former Minister Susan Shabangu. I'm going to continue where she left off with the root causes analysis on improper expenditure. She did mention.
Can we see your face? Then you can close it just a little so that members can see whom they're speaking to.
Okay, there we are.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You can proceed.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So she did talk about the root causes on the improper expenditure that we experienced within the department that actually resulted into these matters. And she was talking about SCM challenges that we actually are facing, the non-compliance there and the reduction in sundry payments, the consultation with risk management, proactive audits, compliance officers assisted in the implementation, and the inadequate awareness, contract management, HR irregularities, which is the conflict of interest, and on those, the forensic audits are performed, implementing agent irregularities. All of those currently the department are dealing with them. But as she mentioned, it does take a while because this is engraved irregularities that have been there for quite a while. And now with the disciplinary processes, it actually is helping a bit. And some processes in terms of the SCM are actually introduced in terms of now a segregation of duties amongst the employees. And even on the contract management, the contracts are followed through now. They no longer evergreen. There's proper now contract management that is introduced in the department. So can we go to another, and the next slide? Those are just material irregularities that have been found by the Auditor General. And in terms of the year 2019 and 2020, there hasn't been any new material irregularities that have been identified. These cases that we are dealing with are coming from way back 2018, back into the years up to 2014, 2015. So as I have mentioned, Chair, there has been a remarkable progress in terms of the systems and internal controls of the department. And also the introduction of the committee by the minister has actually helped a lot, because now people, for some reason, they have refrained from the doings that they were engaging in before the committee took place, because before there was no proper consequence management that was taken against the employees that were actually committing these irregular expenditures, and also the process that have been introduced in terms of the irregular expenditure now are actually showing that they are working. So that's why now we don't have new material irregularities that have been identified in the previous year, 2019 and 2020. So, Chair, there it shows this is one material irregularity that has been resolved, with 3 of them which are work in progress, and the other ones are still receiving attention. So, Chair, I'm not going to go through all of that, as I have mentioned before. It's just a note, and that is a detail of those material irregularities that have been identified, which is the payment of interest for standing time on the Amatola board, the payment to a consulting firm without evidence of work done, the payment that was not made within 30 days, resulting in additional interest, the effective and appropriate steps not taken to collect revenue for WTE, which is the water trading entity. All of those, Chair, if you look at them, they are part of the disciplinary cases that the committee is dealing with. They are just identified there so you can understand what are the root causes that these matters are emanating from. As I have mentioned, the progress has been remarkably noticed, because internal controls now are actually in place, and the minister, when she started, actually made sure that there is, new procurement, not new, but procurement processes are actually followed, and that the committee that was there last year, it actually looked into all the other things, like ensuring that there's proper planning, the budget is properly allocated, etc., etc. So can you go to the other page, please? That, Chair, is just a forensic overview. So the department has actually engaged the forensic investigations, rather the internal audit unit, to do the forensic investigations. Initially, the forensic investigations were tasked into the risk management unit, because that unit was the internal audit, which has forensic investigations, was under-resourced. Now there's a new resources that have been engaged, and also the committee that is engaged now by the minister also has some forensic investigators amongst us, which is actually assisting a lot with the internal audit to complete these matters. That is just a statistics of the matters that the department is dealing with in terms of those matters, the forensic investigations. Initially, there were 67 cases that were received by internal audit, with the status being as follows. Those matters are coming from different positions, Chair. Some are coming from the hotline cases that are received by the department, and some, as we have previously mentioned, are coming from irregular expenditure that has been identified by the Auditor General. So with those cases, we had 42 investigations that we have completed together with the team that the minister has engaged. We've got 10 investigations that are currently in progress, and there's currently 15 cases that are not yet investigated. And these are all due to be to the prioritization of these matters. Like former Minister Shabang had said, we had actually started by looking at the senior management of the department in terms of the investigations and the disciplinary hearings, and then we're going down to the lower management and the other employees of the department. And we also have categorized them according to the losses that the department has suffered. As you would imagine, if somebody that is at a senior management level is on suspension for a longer period of time, the department suffers, because in that period they are actually paid their salaries. Whereas if it's a junior employee, although the impact is that much, at least the losses that the department is suffering is not going to be the same as that of a senior employee. So that's how we have looked at the prioritization of these matters, Chair. Not that the other ones are not important, but just so also the impact can be shown in that even the monies that have been stolen could easily be recovered. So can we go to the other slide, please? Okay, so that is just a show on the progress of these forensic cases, which is similar to the other one, but this one is segmenting them according to where they are coming from. For instance, if you look at the first part of the slide, it talks about the main account cases. We've had 20 investigations there that have been completed. We have 5 investigations that are in progress and 8 cases that have not yet been investigated. It's still the same number of 67, but they are segmented according to where they originate from. And with the water trading entity cases, there's 22 investigations that have been completed, 5 investigations are in progress, and 7 cases have not yet been investigated. So if, for instance, you look at 8 plus 7, it comes to the 15 that are still to be investigated. Can we go to the next slide, please? So that's just the outcome of the forensic investigations at the end of 2019 and 2020 financial year. Chair, I'm not going to bore you with the detail there, but it just shows from the slides that if you look at the 2 boxes in the end, you're looking at fraud, corruption, conflict of interest. It shows you as per category. Fraud cases that have been investigated are 15. Out of corruption, we've got 14. We've got procurement irregularities, and we've got the total down there. So it shows to you that many of the cases that are investigated are related to procurement irregularities, and 15 of them are related to fraud. So these are the cases that we're currently dealing with in terms of disciplinary processes, Chair. Can we go to the next slide? So that is the investigations in year 2020, 2021, Chair. If you look at that, there's 72 cases that were received by internal audit with the status below. And that 72, it includes that 67. So what we have done as the department is to combine the whole number so as to show the portfolio committee how many cases now are we left with as a department. So if you look at that, the 30 cases have been completed, the 19 cases are in progress, and 23 cases have not yet been investigated. But these ones, Chair, are not as they're not as serious as the ones that we have been talking about. Yes, they are, but in terms of the amounts in relation to the irregular expenditure and the conduct that has allegedly been performed, they're not similar to those ones. As I have said, that the internal processes have since been improved within the department. So these are just the ones that AG would highlight for further investigation, or rather for investigation. But like the ones that are more serious, that include the SEPs, the Khodetro, the Guyani, with the other ones that have been investigated by SIU are already investigated, and we are actually proceeding with the disciplinary processes. Can we go to the other slide, please? Yes, so that one is also almost the same as the other slide, where it shows from the main account how many cases there are, which is investigations of 18 cases that have been completed, 14 cases are in progress, and 11 cases have not yet been investigated. Then the other one is the WTE cases, with 12 cases having been completed, 15 which are in progress, and 12 cases that have not yet been investigated. We minister every now and then, Chair, is getting together with the committee new investigators that will help in completing these matters, Chair, because what delays a lot is that the internal audit unit, which is dealing with the investigations, is not properly resourced in terms of human resources and skills. So that's what the minister is looking at together with the committee. As I have mentioned, we've got committee members that are skilled in investigations that are assisting the department, but because of the backlog, the things are not moving as quick as we would like them to move. But if you notice from the 2019 and 2020, there has actually been remarkable progress as compared to where the department was before the minister took over. Can you go through to the next slide, please? Okay, that is the outcome of the forensic investigations. It talks about the 2020 and 2021 financial year. It's the same, Chair, if you could look at it. You're looking at the fraud cases, which is one matter there, and we're looking at the procurement irregularities, which is 23 matters. As I have mentioned, Chair, there has been a remarkable change. Remember the previous slide had about 15 fraud-related matters. This one only has one. And more of what is there is procurement irregularities. And these ones, like I said, will probably be issues like somebody that has not produced a tax clearance certificate, somebody that is just flouting the procurement processes, and not much about the big amounts that we were talking about in billions from the beginning. Can we go through into the next slide, please? Chair, that is just the awareness sessions that have been conducted by internal audit, which is part of ensuring that internal controls are there, that people are aware about the fraud awarenesses, about with all the things that internal audit is trying to embark to ensure that employees now or officials are actually deterring from the fraudulent activities that they were doing. Because some of these things are done because people do not understand the implications of fraud, or they are not trained properly in terms of what the prevention measures are, etc., etc. So internal audit has embarked into all of those workshops, which you can see there. And there's also International Fraud Week interviews that were conducted in the radio stations, which is Radio 702, SAFM, Listedi FM. All of that was done in 2019. Can you please go through the next slide? That is just for information sharing, Chair. That is also from that slide, which is talking about the media statements that were issued during the year 2020 in relation to the work that the department does, and also a joint media statement that was issued by the department and the Special Investigation Unit in 26 November 2020. All of those are the media statements that have been done, Chair, in terms of the work that has been done by SIU and the progress that has been made by the department in terms of fraud and corruption. Can we proceed from there, please? Chair, that's about the ethics, and it's almost the same thing. It's the training that has been done in terms of ethics and the ethics certificates that were issued to those that have attended. All of this, Chair, is to show that even though we are dealing with the disciplinary hearings and the investigations, there are actually measures in place that the department does in terms of awareness, in terms of alerting officials of the implications of what the wrongdoings that are done within the department. And also these, Chair, are also good communication platforms to communicate to the officials about the successes that the department has done in terms of the fraud and fraudulent activities and the irregular expenditure cases that have been done and concluded within the department. Thank you. Can we go to the other slide? That Chair talks to the consequence management. This is talking to the cases that Minister Shabangu was talking about, that the committee is actually dealing with, and that is the status of where we are. And we have split them, as I have mentioned, in terms of the SMS and the other below levels from level 2 to level 12. And Chair, if you look at that, we currently have a total of 47 disciplinary cases. And remember, all of these are emanating from the investigations that have been previously done. So you can see that there is a remarkable progress in terms of the matters that have been investigated through to the disciplinary cases that have been forwarded to the Labor Relations section and now currently done by the committee. So at a senior management level, we've got about 10 cases. From level 2 to level 12, we've got about 37 cases, which totals to a number of 47. But that, Chair, I must mention that they are not only from the head office, which is the Pretoria head office, they're coming from from the provinces as well, which is that, especially that 37. So we just did not segment them according to within which province are they coming from. We've just put the number together. So the irregular expenditure is not only that one that was incurred at a national level, it's also regional level as well. Can we go through to the next slide? So that chart tells the committee about the current progress. So on the senior management level cases that are 10, we currently have 3 cases that are already at a hearing stage. 2 matters of that 3 already the presiding officers have started with the points in limine, which means that trying to look at the technical errors that might have happened prior to the disciplinary process being started. And already there's judgment, 2 judgments in favor of the department. The other one specifically was, if I may say, is mainly in relation to the evidence that was completed. So the committee now, what we are trying to do is to scrutinize the evidence that was collected by either internal audit or the risk management committee in terms of the investigations, and trying to ensure that that evidence could stand the test of time. So in many cases, we have established that the investigations was not properly done, and therefore the investigations needs to be started from scratch, or rather in some cases not even started from scratch, but other witnesses need to give more evidence so that we can get the cases watertight so we don't lose them as the department. So that's basically some of the delays that have occurred in those cases, Chair. But all of that is right on track now. And the 18 other cases are proceeding with the hearings, and those are at the regional level with the 37. And some of those cases are already concluded. It's just that the presiding officers need to just compile the decisions and put them and provide the department with those decisions. And in some instances, the presiding officers are just left to decide on the matters, and the trials are already completed, Chair. And amongst those 37, 6 are on suspension. So we are also dealing with those ones. But the matters of priority are the ones that are involving the SMSs, which is the senior management members, Chair. Thank you. Can we go through to the other slide? Chair, that is the processes. There has been questions about what processes are done to follow the officials that have left the employment of the department. That question has come through in many times from the committee members. And Chair, that is just to elaborate to the committee what the department has done in terms of those officials. So for instance, if an official is transferred to another department whilst there's still a pending disciplinary matter, the case is transferred to the new department for them to conclude on the disciplinary process. It's not left there, Chair. The department actually assists in terms of the completion of that disciplinary process, in terms of ensuring that witnesses are available, the correct presiding officers are appointed, and that the initiators who can properly manage that case are actually appointed. And also, when an official has been disciplined and has been dismissed, the details of the dismissal are captured on PESAL so that other departments can see that this person has been dismissed and that the decision to appoint in future is actually affected by that dismissal. And therefore it creates an automatic block on the system, and the head of department will then have to make a decision on whether to appoint such an official or not. And Chair, the last one is when an official resigns whilst there is still a pending disciplinary matter, there is no further action that can be taken on the disciplinary side. However, the department can pursue a civil or a criminal proceeding against that specific official. We've got quite a number of those officials, Chair, amongst the department. Some of them, just to mention a few, is as a CFO that was part of the officials that are implicated in the investigations that have been conducted on the matters that are dealt with by the committee. So with those ones, we are following through civilly and criminally, Chair. We go to the next slide. Chair, that is just the summary of outcome of disciplinary actions emanating from the forensic investigations starting from 2012-2013 financial year until 2020 to 2021 financial year. Chair, I don't want to go into detail for the committee in terms of that summary. It's quite long, but if you look at that slide, it just tells you it goes on year by year, and it tells you at what salary level the person was, or rather they were. So we're looking at senior management members at salary levels 1 to 12, and then we look, and also at salary level 1 to 12, and then we're looking at senior management members there. I think the focus should actually be at a senior management level. So in June 2020, May 2021, we actually, in total, Chair, there, including all of the salary levels, we have 143 for the May 2021, which is now. So it tells you the officials that are not found guilty, the ones that have been found guilty. At an SMS level, we've got 11, and we've got 2 that were not found guilty, and we've got 9 resignations, Chair. So the process that I was talking to about the following through in terms of civil and or criminally, that's what the department does where there's resignations. Chair, like I said, let me not bore you with the detail on those ones. It tells you about the written letters, the warning letters that have been signed, and the final written warning letters that have been signed. Chair, what I must just mention is that in some of those, for instance, final written warning letters that have been signed, we have actually, as the committee, tried to look into the matters as a whole to see whether the investigations were properly done. Because in some instances, there could just be a final written warning letter that has been signed because there was a collusion between the manager and the official. So in those instances, we're trying to re-look into the evidence and see whether that sanction actually meets the transgression. Not in all of them, Chair. Mainly, we're looking at the senior management level because we're trying to avoid recurrences of the similar actions. Can we go through to the next slide, please? Chair, that is talking to the financial recoveries that have since been done. There has been some successes that needs to be noted. For instance, on the first line there, an amount of 966,883.24, which is very close to R1 million, has been recovered by the department. The service provider in the second line has been ordered by the court to pay the department an amount of 27,510.67 plus interest, which was calculated from February 2014 for monies that were irregularly paid to them. Certain of these cases, Chair, were investigations resulted in 23 criminal cases being opened with the South African Police Service, and the investigations of such cases in some instances are still in progress. So, Chair, we are anticipating that there might be a lot more recoveries coming from those cases, but I did hear the minister saying that we actually are not getting so much joy as we would want to in terms of the other organs of the state to help us complete those cases. We could actually have had more successes had those cases been taken seriously and properly investigated. But Chair, that is the matter that the minister is looking into with the other organs of state to assist the department in terms of finalizing those matters. On the civil cases, Chair, we have initiated against some companies with reference to 8 employees, which are current employees and former employees. And these matters, Chair, are actually dealt with currently. Some of these companies, as you will recall, includes companies which, because it's in the public domain, like SEP, like EOH. So, Chair, there's actually a lot that is done in terms of trying to recover financially for the department. But obviously, it will be an ongoing reporting, Chair. So as the department succeeds, we will then report to the committee. But we actually are very positive about the work that is done in terms of the recoveries there. Can we go through to the next slide, please?
Comrade Susan, are you still there? Are you able to come in? Honorable Chair, we are suffering this the problem of load shedding, and therefore our internet connection is unstable. So I will be jumping from one presenter who's unable to continue to the next. I don't know if Duke is on in the group. Duke, are you there?
Hi, Minister. Yes, certainly. I'm here with Minister Shabangu.
Susan, are you still out of link?
We together, Minister, with Minister Susan.
Okay, Chairperson, let me go to the concluding remarks. Yes.
Why here, Minister?
The committee therefore was appointed chairperson by myself in December 2020 in terms of Chapter 9 of the National Water Act 36 of 1998. It was appointed to advise, make suggestions and recommendations on matters relating to investigations, maladministration, backlog of disciplinary cases, and general labor issues. And what you've been hearing from the 2 presenters, one with a legal background, which is Welegazi, and the chairperson, a former minister, and also a trade unionist and leader in her own right. That is a report that I'm giving to you now. It is work in progress. It is unfortunate that we have this electricity problem. Otherwise, they would end up indicating to you just how far they have gone. They've worked very hard to make sure that we can fast track this, we can show a turnaround so that we're able to give a different perspective of this department, which when you and I came in, you complained about the many problems that had been reported by the various institutions that look into matters of corruption. They've done very well, and I'm very proud of the work that they do. But in terms of their appointment, they can only work so many hours a week. I'm looking into that through the Minister of Public Service and Administration to see if we cannot change the terms of appointment so that we can fast track the work that they do and come to an end, because only in that way will we be able to see the necessary change in our time as in this particular administration. But I'm very glad that they were able to come, and I'm very happy with their work. Chairperson, over to you.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Chairperson. Chairperson.
Yes. Who's that?
Chairperson, I feel like I'm the only person on the planet remaining.
No, we are here, Minister. We are here.
Minister, who are here is Duke and Mam Shabangu.
We're here. Thank you very much. I'm not sure whether Mam Shabangu, you want to close or Minister is closed on your behalf.
No, thanks, Chairperson. Thanks very much. I will say that's the work we have done so far, Chairperson. We've made a lot of progress, as I've indicated at the beginning. And we are positive that definitely these matters are going to get the appropriate attention. And we are satisfied so far with the progress we've made. And I must thank the whole of my team, which is involved in these complex matters. I must say, Chairperson, they are very complex, but we're not going to get into that. But we are moving, and we are satisfied that the cooperation which I am getting from the team and the work and the time they've put in place in attending to these matters becomes very important. And I want to also to thank the minister that indeed we do need more time, because as I've indicated, we're dealing with billions here. We're not only dealing with departmental people, but there are also external people who are involved. So it's very, very difficult environment, Chairperson. So with those words, I say this is our report, and I believe that it's progress reports, but when we come back during the next round, Chairperson, there'll be results, real results, because we are in that space now of producing results.
Chairperson, this is Duke. I'm part of the team of Minister Shabangu. I think when the minister opened up, said we started this with 166 cases. As you could see, Minister and colleagues, that the interventions that have been put in place have really taken us down to 47 cases. So much effort, so much interventions that have been put in place, as my colleague Welegazi took you through the presentations. Where things are right now in the next 2 months, we categorize some SMS members, SMS cases, which includes SMS members. By end of July, there will be at least 3 cases out of 10 which involve SMS members that will be concluded. Secondly, Chair, is we're beefing up the investigation side of the disciplinary committee. We need to do a lot of investigations to ensure that we chase after these billions of rands that Minister Shabangu has referred to, both with current officials and those officials that have left the department, also including the service providers. I wanted just to conclude, Chair and the Minister, with those closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Shabangu and your team. I'm now going to allow members to interact with the report. Members can raise their hands on the system so that I can note them. Honorable Mokhotu, and followed by Honorable Tseke. Honorable Mokhotu.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thanks for the presentation. I would like to know, according to the presentation, there are 9 officials who have resigned and who have been implicated in the material irregularities. Has the department opened criminal cases against all these 9 officials? And what is the progress? And then another question is that, does the department have an effective mechanism put in place in monitoring non-compliance to deal with irregularities that are taking place in the department before the end of the financial year, before the Auditor General is given the financial records, to go through them? That is my worry, because if we are going to wait for the end of the year then it means every year we are going to experience this problem of irregular expenditure, fruitless expenditure, etc. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mokhotu, Honorable Tseke, and followed by Honorable Mashego.
Chair, thanks very much. And let me appreciate the report too by the advisory team, stroke the DC team, led by Mam Shabangu. Just to emphasize on what Memo Khotu has said, that we must be able to give capacity, or our internal audit committee and our risk committee, let's appoint people who have capacity so that they can be able to detect or to deal with risk matters that are emanating, irregular expenditure, fruitless expenditure, and all those non-compliance matters emanating from the department. I think this in turn will reduce the number of findings from the AG. So let's try to make sure that we capacitate those internal committees, audit committees. Secondly, Chair, I think we note the progress report that has been done thus far. I think even in our previous interaction, I've said, Chair, that the public equates corruption to politicians. So to me, I'm welcoming this progress report because it shows that majority of our public servants are stealing the taxpayers' money, and the public, as politicians, that we are the ones who are corrupt. So let's lead by example as the department. Let's make sure that we discipline all those officials, Chairperson, and let's talk about them, not only in our public meetings, our portfolio committee meetings, but even in the social media. Let's have our media statement, Meshabangu. Let's talk about the progress, because the Department of Water and Sanitation, it's perceived as one of those corrupt departments. So let's try to rebrand this department, Chair. So I want to appreciate and note the progress that we have done thus far. And lastly, I think to the Minister, I know that she has made a commitment in the budget speeches, but I think most of the cases that are here, fraud cases that are here, are within your procurement irregularities. And the AG and us as the portfolio committee, we have been consistent in terms of just closing the ranks, closing the gaps. Let's appoint our CFOs, within the supply chain management. Let's appoint capable people who can deal with the finances. Let's appoint our Director General, who's the accounting officer, so that we can be able to close the ranks, because they're taking advantage that this 6 months, there'll be this person who will be acting. After 6 months or 9 months, there'll be another person who's acting. So they're taking advantage of those acting positions and acting individuals who are there. So let's just close ranks and appoint permanent people with powers, though it's in a fixed contract or not, but let's appoint, especially in the 2 key positions within the department. I think the AG has been consistent with that. Let's just close the ranks while dealing with corruption in the department. Thanks, Chair. And thanks, team led by Minister Chabangu and the Minister too. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Tseke. Honorable Mashiro, followed by Honorable Mvana.
Good morning, Chair and the committee. I will have been a little bit softer on my input, but because the Comrade Susan did not want to recognize me, so I will be harsh on her. She recognized I would take it, and she left me out. So
my apology. My apology, Mkaya. My apology, Mkaya.
no, the light. Chair, and I think Comrade Grace has raised quite a number of things I would have raised. I must say, key to this issue, Minister Sulu, is to talk to the public about this work that you are doing to rebrand and to proactively correct the wrongs that has happened in so many years. And I think Grace is, member Seke is raising this point that in doing so, we will be rebranding the Department of Women's Settlement, Water and Sanitation. Because indeed, in the public out there, you are leading a very, very ineffective, corrupt, and in actual fact, bankrupt organization. And we are doing quite a lot of work in between the space, but we are introvert in what we do. I think we really need to be extrovert a bit, not a bit, but more, just to tell the world, the country and the world what we are doing in addressing the ills that happened before ourselves. But fundamental to that is this what Member Seke is raising. When corruption is raised, it's generally related to politicians. And in this case, it is related to an organization called African National Congress. I doubt whether these officials that we are talking about are elected members or voters of the ANC. But we really need just to talk about them, that there is money, billions, that are being siphoned out of the departments by officials, senior officials, lower officials, technical officials. It must be said to the public, because the narrative of the politicians, or in this case, even members of the ANC being corrupt, should be dispelled as a myth by giving facts of what is happening. I must say that listening to the input, there is a very bright light at the end of the tunnel of us succeeding in what we are doing. But the time is to the essence. Now, the minister says the contract of employment of the committees we're talking about is in such that they must work quite a long time because their hours of work is small. I think, to me, let's do what you think you want to do, Minister. Let's extend the hours of work, shorten the time frame of the work. Because with the small hours that they are going to work, they are going to spend a lot of time. They might be finished at the end that you are no longer a minister if you do that. But if you extend the time that they work, maybe 8 hours, 9 hours, and that 9 hours, where if they were working 4 hours, then they double the hours a day, it will shorten the span on time of them being in the department. And I think that as you are saying, you want to revisit the conditions of employment. I want to implore that please do that, because it is going to cost benefit is in the favor of the department and the country and government. What is wrong?
Honorable Mashiko, Honorable Setlwai, mute your mic. We've seen your hand. Please mute your
Can
mic.
I ask a question, Chair?
You are going. No. Honorable Mashiko is on
public screen.
No, Honorable Mashiru is still on the platform, Honorable Member. Can you please mute your mic, and then we'll give an opportunity when the times arrive. Honorable Mashiru, you are protected.
Sorry, on condemnation, Chair. I know that we ask for condemnation in order for us to can apply for funding by the National Treasury. That's the condition. But there are places, for instance, if you have asked condemnation on Guyana and the surrounding areas, where we believe quite a lot of money must be recovered from those that have siphoned our money. if you ask for condonation and you get it, it gets condoned, and finally you go get the money, what will then be happening there? Because it might be double dipping in the process, and you might be seen to have double dipped. So, for instance, on war on leaks, though we have accepted that these 35,000 people that were appointed on war on leaks, but they are not used for now, and what they do of their presence is the one that is escalating a fruitless expenditure by the name, but with well not having done work in any way. What is it that you are doing to address that particular point? Chairperson, isn't it that we in our intention is to recover these monies that are being siphoned by officials and service providers? If that is the case, for instance, you say there are department members employees that have resigned, and member Mkhute has asked the question. Yes, we know that when somebody has resigned, you can't charge, but are we opening criminal cases against these particular members, as member Mkhute is asking? If we do, we really, for instance, I know that once you open a case and you do not appoint credible representatives, you might be losing money in pursuit of, you might be losing a lot of money in pursuit of small money. That's the point I'm raising. Finally, Chair, on the budget of this work that you are doing, are we covered that we might not be found to have used money that was supposed to be doing something else in order to pursue the work that we are doing, and we end up ourselves contravening the work in pursuit of the good work that we want to do? And in this question, I'm simply saying, Minister, I'm sure you are capable of avoiding such behavior, that we use money that is not budgeted for because we want to pursue this money, and tomorrow you are being found also to have acted irregularly. Can we avoid such things, that when we do this good work, it must not have comebacks, it must remain good, and it must not have repercussions? I thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Mvana. Honorable Mvana,
Thank
followed
you.
by Honorable Setlhwai.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable members, where you don't have a network problem, please open your cameras.
I'm not sure about the network, Chairperson. It
No, but
cuts
we
and
can see you very well. You can proceed.
okay, thanks, Chairperson. Morning to everyone. Also left out by Comrade Susan. My name is Nonkosi Mvana from Eastern Cape. Thank you very much, Chairperson. I wish to first comment the report. I think really there is a progress in terms of 160 something that we got, and now we are left with 49 cases. It's a big stride. Chairperson, I tried to peruse the report, the last year's report, when we got the presentation from the advisory committee, but I couldn't get it. I was interested to check. There were cases that we couldn't get reports on them because we were not supposed to have discussed about them due to that they were in court. Can I be reminded of how many were those cases? The other thing, Chair, I'm also looking whether out of the 9 resignations, that were reported about. Did they manage to recover what is owed by these individuals? Yeah, I think it's the last one. Others have been covered by my colleagues. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mvana. Honorable Sifwai.
Thank you, Chairperson. Apology about my interruptions. There was something that was making to be scared in my screen. I was worried. Apology, Chair. I think perhaps it's important to appreciate the report again with some progress as we listened from Mama Shabangu. The issue, Chair, of condonation, it's a nice legal term. I think it's a term, the administrative term or legal term. But the issue here is, Honorable Minister, you do very good things, many of them. But one, if you have done even one mistake to the public, you're doing nothing. It's what is happening on the public platform. I want to ask a question. It's a pity that we went to Guyana. You see, the issue of Guyana continues to be our mind. What we have seen in Guyana is a sin, not a SCE, SIN. Government have undermined the people of Guyana. I say government because that's how people see it, and that's how also we see it, irrespective of whom has done what he has done to that community. That now there's a condonation that has been given to Guyana. I wish we can just get in the process, Honorable Minister, the people that have done that sin in Guyana. It's a sad thing. The second issue, Honorable Minister, there are other reports that perhaps we don't know when are we going to get them. Amatola entity in the Eastern Cape is a talk of the town, and there is nothing that comes to us. It may happen that it's in the queue of the program for Mama Shabangu. And also Lepele entity. I'm just raising them. It may happen that they're on the pipeline. But I think the issues that came from those entities demands a lot of public knowledge, starting from us. What is happening in those particular entities? The corruption, Honorable Minister, distances the people from their government. It really distances. I think everyone who is a citizen is able to see what is happening now within our country because of such issues. I would imagine that maybe they are still small because small was have not gone to the state capture. I don't know which one goes to state capture, which one doesn't. But I want to raise the issue that problems that we are confronting as this country, many of them emanate from the corrupt practices of some individuals, which therefore means I want to agree with Utseki to say there's little that goes to the public about what the department is doing, Honorable Minister Sisulu. But what goes to the public is how corrupt is this department. But there's little in terms of what you're trying to do that goes to the public. We wish that even perhaps in this meeting, there should have been people that are dealing with the communication, so that even this meeting is known to the public without getting to the specifics as we have done to us. You must not say Nancy Sishwai has been dismissed, but some information that the minister is dealing with these particular issues. I hear that the focus on this is on the senior management level. I just want to be told which level in the structure of the department is senior, because there is a middle management, which is always in the process of corruption, is utilized by the senior management. And because they're in that level, they keep quiet, they do wrong things. And you leave them out, you go to the senior management, those that are signatories. Fine, but I do want us to look on that level, because that level is under siege, because the bosses have spoken. They must do what the boss is saying. The last one, Chair, is the issue of the administration has got to have ethical processes in dealing with community budget. And it should have very clear professionalism. It may happen that, Chair, at the end, this team or the minister will be able to give very clear recommendations on the lessons learned. It's important that we get that. Teach us and teach the department the lessons learned, so that we are able to bring back the ethical perspective of administration. Because as it is now, administration is in tatters. It's in tatters. Now, one needs to be educated, empowered. Where can we correct this? What is happening now in our government? One of the issues that I would like to hear from the committee, the stabilizing committee, is how can we strengthen the monitoring and evaluation of the department? Because that should be a unit on itself, and it should stand alone, should not be within as a management role of the senior manager. You can't do both. You can't watch as a watchdog and you implement again, and you come and tell us that you've done something wrong. So I would like to see that particular process at the end to tell us how can we correct the issues. I think Honorable Tseki raised the issue. But Minister, the public must know that this department, this portfolio committee is dealing with the issues that they're always raising, and we keep quiet. Thank you very much, Chair. Sorry for the long recitation.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sekhai. I don't see any other hands. Just to add some few from what honorable members have raised, to welcome the report from the minister and the team, and welcome the good work that has been done But I just want to add on what Honorable Tseke and Honorable Mashiro and other comrades have, other honorable have raised on the issue of minister doing this good job, and they must be budgeted for, so that we don't end up as you have done the good job. Therefore, then there will be issues that will raise by the Auditor General again on the process that you have done, and we should be very, very careful on those issues. I want to add to what Honorable Mashiro said. It might be a setback for this good job. The second issue is on the communication on the processes. We know that some of the cases, they are still sub judice, but for the fact that it's out of 160 something, now you are left with 47. It's a registered progress which need to go out. People must know about it. And the other issue that I wanted to raise is the adding to the issue of condonation. Treasury, in terms of how they are doing their work, before they condone, there must be consequence management. And as we receive the report, that part is still lacking, which might be delayed by investigation, as the team has presented. But I want to agree that the team has to be given enough time to finalize those issues, particularly those issues that are raised by the Treasury, so that we clear the processes of condonations. The other issues on the mitigation of mitigation strategies that needs to be in place to avoid the continuation of, as you deal with the problems, others, they continue to do the same problem behind your back. I'm not sure, maybe Minister can talk about it, just to check what is the mitigation strategy to avoid going back where we come from, particularly in supply chain management, because that's where the problem is. We can see in other departments, they are starting to move towards confronting those issues in supply chain management, and putting a mechanism that would expose any illegal or any wrongdoing from our officials, just to check whether are we on top of that situation. Because you look at supply chain management, it's where the problem is, and therefore we need a thorough strategy to deal with those, mitigation strategy to deal with those areas. The last thing is to Minister, to convey our gratitude to Mr. Tlabantu, who has done the sterling work in stabilizing the finances of this department, and may her soul rest in peace. Today we can see the light because he has done his utmost best to stabilize and thank the team that you're working with. Just to check, Minister, in terms of, I can see the recovery. The recovery, if you check the billions versus 100,000, it's worrisome. The recovery is 100, it's thousands. The loss is billions. Just to check, are we not going to be penalize ourselves in terms of using a lot of money to recover small money when we've lost those billions? Just to check on that. Thank you very much, Minister, and the team. You can respond.
Chairperson,
Yes. Oh, Honorable
can you
Mokhotu.
please allow me to ask one question, please?
Okay, Honorable Mokhotu.
Thank you, Chairperson. To what extent is this special advisory committee duplicating the work of the special investigating unit? How much does the department pay to the SIU for these investigations? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mokhotu. Can we get the Minister and the team to respond to? Minister?
Chairperson?
Yes, Honorable.
I'm trying to link in before we give over to Honorable Susan. She will respond to the nitty-gritty. I just need to respond to the policy issues that underpin what we are doing. And I have taken note of the concerns to the extent that I was able to latch into the discussion. Most of it I was not able to, but I am certain that former Minister Shabangu will be able to respond to that because she has been linked in for quite some time. I got back onto the discussion at the point at which Honorable Mashego was discussing the fact that we are not doing much to communicate what we're doing. And I agree with him. And I think it was also emphasized by Honorable Nancy Sitluai. We are working very hard to make sure that we can find a communication vehicle that will be sustainable and that will be able to convey these particular successes that we are notching up. The reason why it's important to communicate and why it is important for society to see that something is being done is that it adds to the confidence of the people that we're not just looking away, we are doing something about it. That's what they expect of every government. That's what they expect of each one of us. And we are doing that which is necessary, that which is a constitutional responsibility. When something has gone wrong, we must make sure that it is followed through and the necessary consequence management that the Auditor General always talks about is taken up. We will do something about communication. We did lose a great deal of skill in the communication sector due to also some of the investigations that are going on. And we'll probably lose a bit of the expertise we have because as we investigate, the tendency is to lose the people that we have there, either because they have resigned or because by the time that we call them in for investigative purposes, they've had to be suspended. That is a natural process in which public administration works. So we're struggling with the essential management of the department. And we're grateful that so many other cases have been concluded, which means that in those areas we can return to a level of normality. But this was necessary. This was necessary because the SIU, the Auditor General, etc., the Minister of Finance himself, the first thing he said about this department was very negative. Long before you and I got onto this department, it was very negative about the way that government is not dealing with the losses in this department. He emphasized the issue of Guyana. So we had to make sure that we deal with that, which is an eyesore, that which is a blight on the work that the department is doing. Most of the people in the department are doing a very good job, but that is overshadowed by some of these cases, which is why we had to isolate them. But the downside is that we are also in a situation where we don't have sufficient capacity. And we will be discussing with the Minister of Public Service and Administration, because when you put somebody on special leave, you're limited to a specific 6 months. And these cases are going to take a long time for some kind of condonation for us to employ people in those spaces where some of the officials are undergoing investigation. Honorable Mashiko is worried about war on leaks. The war on leaks matter is a very complicated, delicate matter. Minister of Local Government, Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, and I have 3 times called a joint MINMAC between her department and my Department of Water and Sanitation to say, we have these students who have been trained to ensure that we can detect leaks if they happen at the level of burst of pipes or infrastructure. We would like them to be placed in every district. We would like them to be placed in every municipality. On 3 occasions, the municipalities said no, absolutely no. So we have been at a loss.
Yes.
Susan, come mute Inasikaya. Susan.
Send him the unmute. Thanks, Minister. Thanks, Minister.
Mute and go. Thank you. So we've been struggling, but it does look like government itself is seized with what to do about these students. One of the first budget votes that I had with yourselves, you asked me, please make sure that these students are placed somewhere. The only place where they can be placed is at the districts, at the municipalities. They cannot be at national level because the leaks happen on the ground, they happen in our localities. We've not had a buy-in from municipalities because they're worried that we bring in these students, we take away some of the vacancies that they have, which would have been used for something that they need in that particular locality. So we need to relook at how to deal with this or create out of them a kind of additional capacity to the department. I'll have to discuss this with the Minister of Public Administration if this is possible. There was a question whether the work that we're doing in this particular committee that is led by Minister Shabangu is in conjunction with Treasury. Yes, the committee does meet with Treasury, and on a number of occasions is a great deal of consultation, and we are led by some of the outcomes that Treasury has pointed out to us together with the Auditor General's Office. So we are in touch with Treasury, we are working with Treasury, and Treasury is aware of the work that is being done by this particular entity, which is called the Susan Shabangu Vanguard team. Then Honorable Sifai is very, very concerned about communication. We're all very concerned about communication. And we are doing our best to ensure that we can create a sufficient body around communication to be able to communicate what we're doing. Because it's not just this matter that I'm worried about in relation to communication. It's just also about the extent of the work that has been done in the department, which remains unknown in the public. So we are dealing with that, and we accept that complaint, and we apologize to the portfolio committee, but some of the people that are not there have their posts kept aside for them, because that is what the public administration policies require of us. We had not anticipated that we would be finding the extent of the work that we are finding now, but we're dealing with it as much as we can. And I'm grateful that Honorable Mashiko has urged us to make sure that we can find a way in which we extend the number of hours and days that the committee is working, because it'll fast track what we're doing, and we'll be able to reach some kind of leveling of the playing fields at an earlier time than the time that is allocated to us. Then we had a very heated Madam Setlwai, and before that, I think I was out of the loop, but I do know that there was a question about that the people's rights in Guyana have been undermined. It is true. The people's rights in Guyana have been undermined. But once we have an SIU, which is a state organ, dealing with the matter, and having taken the steps that it has taken to take the CEO of Lepelle to court on 2 counts, and he's been found guilty on 1 already. This is now already a matter that is being dealt with by the SIU. SIU is an entity that is responsible for all of these serious crimes. We will just have to make sure that we do not step on their toes in dealing with matters that they are already dealing with. But we are in touch with them, and wherever we were able to deal with the immediacy of the issues that they raise, we are able to take them up. But we are dealing with Guyana. At the next meeting that we have, I did have in mind to possibly bring in our legal unit to indicate the legal cases. This is a disciplinary process, but there are legal cases that are going on that do involve matters of Guyana and many other areas that we have found from the Auditor General need to be taken through to the courts. And we're dealing with that, and we have a very capable external lawyer who is on top of the situation in this respect. Lepelle as well, because they are responsible for Guyana, the CEO has already been found guilty, but there are a number of other cases that he is responding to. Amatola too is, if the case has been referred to our lawyers and it has been referred to the courts, we will hear from the courts how we are dealing with those matters. They are taking long. For some reason, even I am very agitated about it, but they are in the process of being finalized. In the recent past, last week, the chair of the SIU was complaining that there are matters that they had found and they had referred to Amatola board to deal with. One of them is a case of the CE, the other one is a case of a CFO. And he was complaining very publicly that Amatola is dragging its feet on these matters because those fall under their jurisdiction in the matters that he has found, and nothing has come out of it. This is something I'm going to discuss with the SIU myself to find out how we can fast track this. If the administration of Amatola is dragging its feet, would it be possible for us to refer it to this particular entity of Minister Shabangu, or would that be in conflict with some of the laws that we have? We're wanting to make sure that every step we take does make a difference in the way that people understand the responsibility of this department towards its people. That the money that we have is not ours, that the money that we have counts for every single person who does not have water in their municipality. Sifai again goes on and says, no, restructure the department. You must do something about communication. We take that advice. We will do that. I have been talking in the meantime with our HR people to say, look, we need to restructure. We have suffered a great deal of regression in our personnel because of these cases. And as you will understand, the officials that are there are some of the officials that were in the department but we have to do something and create additional capacity so that we don't affect the work of the department. We will be putting in a monitoring and evaluation unit, which was not there in the department, but we take the advice and we will put in that monitoring and evaluation unit. Then there was a question from Honorable Mokhoto, the special advisory unit, this one, how much does it, how much do we pay it? We couldn't pay it enough to make up for the money that we have lost. This is an absolutely essential unit, as you have seen. They're making progress. We're recovering. At least we are able to see where the seepage of money. We're more concerned about taxpayers' money, because taxpayers' money ought to result in some kind of advancement in people accessing water. And if that is not happening and it is going down the drain in what is otherwise called corruption, then we need to do something. We have to do something. We have a constitutional responsibility to do something. Even if the money that was going in there was equal to the money that we'd taken, if it stops any wastage of public resources, it is necessary. However, the amount of money that is spent on this unit, and Honorable Mashiko has responded to it, is in line with what the law says. Honorable Mashiko says, restructure that and make sure that they can work as much as possible so that we can get to the bottom of this. At the moment, they are constrained by the fact that they can only work so many days and they can only do A, B, C, D, but that is what the public service regulations are put in place. We can make special appeal to say this is a special unit, we would like them to work 24 hours and they will be paid for 24 hours, because what we gain from that in terms of the integrity of the state is monumental. So I hope Honorable Rosina, that we must take note of what has been done, and that our cases have gone down from 157 to 44, and that the committee is very appreciative. Most of the other inputs, Honorable Chair, I will ask former Minister Susan to respond, because I was out of circuit at the time my system was down. What I have here is what I was able to log into and be able to take in, and I have been able to put in some quick responses. But I will now ask Minister Shabangu, please, to respond to issues that were raised before I was able to log in. With your permission, Chair.
Thank you. Thanks, Chairperson. Thanks, Minister. The first question which I want to respond to, it's about the officials, the 9 officials who have resigned, and those are some of the people we have cases against them. They have been reported to the police. I must say we've got cases against these people, but the biggest challenge, just to share with the committee, is that I don't think we are the first department. There are many departments. I think being members of the portfolio are very much aware that we do report to the police. I'm not even sure they really take these matters serious, because of lack of follow-up from the police. We end up having just reporting as part of a procedural issue, but the action is not there. And I would say these are some of the issues maybe the minister might want to take up with the Minister of Police, including the Minister of Justice, because as soon as we've reported such matters as a department, nothing happens. And it's not only this department, all departments, we're facing the same challenge. So I think it's some of the things which the minister might want to take it up, but also raise it at the cabinet level, because
We can hear.
We're losing many cases, but the department is chasing them. I agree in you dealing with these matters and digging deeper we're going to have more officials who will have to be
Minister, we're losing you. Minister,
Hello?
Minister Shabangu,
Yeah,
we are losing you in between.
okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Chair.
Some of the areas we couldn't hear because you are gone.
Chair, let's go to ESCOM now and Toy there at Megawatt Park.
I'm
Once
sorry
a
for
minister,
that.
always a minister.
Okay, I'm saying the issue of officials, the 9 officials who have left the department. What we are saying is that it has become a norm in government when officials leave government and we report to the police, but nothing comes to our attention and no proper follow-ups are made. And I'm suggesting that maybe the minister needs to talk to the Minister of Police and the Minister of Justice and come up with a mechanism. How does government deal with these issues? Because it's not only water and sanitation, it's all over, including those who jump from one department to another. And when they go to the other department, they are not being disciplined. So I just thought I would raise that too. And they also, we've indicated we've got 23 officials, which we have reported. So the 9 is part of the 23, which means we have to make sure that we do the right thing. And the other one, which I thought would be important for us, is the issue of middle management. Middle management, again, we've got cases which we are going to take up because of their complexity. We've indicated that the cases we're dealing with, most of them are billions. So that's what we're looking at. We're not just looking at whether it's a director, but it's also about the level of the case, the level of the offense, which we need to take into cognizance. Because if we want going to say we don't taking other levels, we'll have the problem. Because if you look at the levels, for instance, from level 2 to level 12, we have about 47 cases. So it's about to what extent are these matters serious? So that is why we are saying some of them will come to us. Some of them already have been referred to the department to deal with those issues. So I thought it becomes important for us to indicate that. And when it comes to condonation, it does not mean no action has been taken. You can only do condonation on the basis of that already dealt with the matters. Chairperson, can you hear me? Hello? Okay.
Can the chairperson mute?
Also want to say the issue of capable people, we agree with the committee fully because it forms part of the restructuring of the total department. And I think the minister
Minister Shabangu, we've lost you. Is it me only or all of us? Can we hear me, Minister?
No, we can't hear.
No,
Chair. We can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Am I clear?
Yes.
Now you can. We can.
I'm just saying the issue of condonation goes together with consequence management. And the last point which I want to raise, it's that some of the points which have been raised, like the whole question of appointing capable people, becomes very important. It forms part of the restructuring. I hope the minister soon will come and share with the minister, with the committee, how far is she. But I am confident that the work done linked to what we are doing, all this work ultimately leads to the restructuring of the department and making sure that it becomes a competent and a capable department. Thank you, Chairperson.
Chairperson. Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Yes, Chair. I
that?
asked a question in terms of recovery.
No,
Whether
I thought they are not finished. They are not done. Let's give them to.
Okay, Chair.
Yes. Do you have any other member of the advisory team that wants to add on the former Minister Shabangu? There are some few questions that they've not responded to.
Yes, Chair. I can pick up on the few questions that Shabangu has not responded to.
Okay, proceed, ma. Proceed.
The one question that I can note here is that how many cases they are in court that have been referred to recover civilly. Chair, on that front, I'm just going to echo what the minister had said, that what we are currently dealing with as the disciplinary committee is mainly the disciplinary cases within the department. However, the legal services section does deal with the litigation matters which have been referred to them. So that in that aspect, we're not certain how many have been referred for recoveries. With the matters that we have been dealing with currently, that would include disciplinary matters. I can only talk about 2 matters. And the reason those matters we know about is because they are linked to the disciplinary cases that we are currently dealing with. So, Chair, that maybe would have to refer back to the department to get the exact number. But for now, as the committee, we can only talk about 2 matters on recoveries. Then the other one was on resignations. I think Minister Shabangu talked about that with the people that have resigned, how do we then make sure that they are brought back and or we do recoveries in terms of civil litigation and or we institute criminal proceedings. And I think the minister also touched on that one. And then, Chair, the other one was on the water boards. Minister had responded to those ones, monitoring and evaluation. She has the appointment of capacitated people at the internal audit and risk management unit. Chair, that is already done through the internal audit has actually issued out a tender to supplement the investigation team. And that's an open tender, responses that have been received. And now they have a panel of investigators that they can pick up from whenever there is a need. However, as we have already mentioned, the committee also have some investigators that they have been appointed as part of the disciplinary committee. So it's actually work in progress and work that is done by both the department and the committee in that aspect. So there has been capacitation, that unit has been fully capacitated now. However, maybe on a long term, the department will then look into full-time employment rather than external resources. And then, Chair, the other one was on the progress on the criminal cases that have been opened against the officials that have left through the South African Police Service. There are cases that have been opened, and what we need to follow up, as Minister Shabangu had said, is with the subs, because they're taking a while to complete, and some of them are also taking a while to investigate. However, with the ones that have already been investigated by SIU, those ones are ready for civil litigation. So those are easy to just proceed with. which means the bigger ones. Then there was a question in relation to what is not a duplication of work in relation to the committee's work and the SIU. And the answer there, Chair, is that no, there is no duplication of work, because the SIU, as you would know how they work, there is a proclamation from the presidency. With us as the committee, we do work that is in relation to what the department had to investigate in the first place. So it's just to complement the functions of the department, or rather supplement the functions of the department, and ensure that proper investigations are done and all the disciplinary cases are completed. Even with the disciplinary cases, the department still does the work. For us as the committee, mainly we advise and we supplement their work. Chair, on the monies that are currently paid to SIU to date, that detail, we as the committee, we do not have at hand. However, we can get that back to the committee through the minister's office, and the member would then get a response, because I'm sure the department would also have to get an accurate figure as to date how much has been paid, because I'm sure it is a payment that is done not at once, but as per the presentation of invoices by SIU on completion of each and every case. Chair, I think I have covered most of what has been asked, unless there's something I'm leaving behind which the honorable members would assist with, and I can respond to. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable members, and do we still have any follow-up on the follow-up?
Yes, Chairperson, I would like to make a follow-up.
Okay, Honorable, let's see how many hands. It's Honorable Mogotu.
Can I proceed?
Yes, Honorable Mogotu.
Thank you, Chairperson. I asked a very simple question. I wanted to know how much does the department pay to the SIU for these investigations that they are doing for the department. And then I do acknowledge that they are doing a good job. If it's a secret, if we're not supposed to know how much they are paid, then the department won't be able to answer us. And then another question which I think was not responded to is the one where I was asking the department if it had or if it has an effective monitoring and evaluation mechanism to identify on time, analyze on time, and non-compliance, so that they must be able to cap on time irregular expenditure, fruitless expenditure, etc. Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable Mogotu. Thank you very much. They've responded to, but I'll just request them to repeat for you, because they've indicated on the SIU that they don't have the exact number. The minister has to come back to the committee of the exact amount. But let me allow them to do that, so that I don't respond on their behalf, including the one on monitoring and evaluation. Minister have spoken to. Let me give them the opportunity to come back on those issues. Minister and Minister Shabangu.
Thanks, Chairperson. Can you hear me? Am I audible, Chair?
Yes, Minister. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. On the questions of Honorable Mogotu, I just want to indicate that as the committee, we are unable to respond to his questions on how much SIU gets paid by the department. And my suggestion would be asking the Honorable Mukotu to write to the department asking that question, because we are not the accounting officers. So we are unable to say exactly how much is the department spending on SIU. That's the first answer. And the second one, I thought the minister did respond to issues of the department on monitoring and evaluation. But I also touched a little bit to say the department currently, they're talking about organizational redesign. It's about the restructuring and the redesigning of the department and what is it that is relevant to make the department effective. So that will form part of that. And that's why I said, Chairperson, as soon as the Honorable Minister is ready, he will come and present the structure of the department as a, am I visible? Am I clear?
You are. Honorable Mashego, can you mute your mic?
So I'm saying these are the things which the minister or the DG will be able to come and present to the department, but we will not be able to specifically say what is the new monitoring and evaluation of the department structure would be. But that will talk to the rest of the organizational redesign of the department. So I think those are the issues, Chair, which I just want to add on. Thank you, Chairperson.
Chair, I can add on to that, your permission.
Minister, yes.
Yes, thank you very much to the Portfolio Committee and to the team of former Minister Shabangu. To respond very specifically to Ms. Mkhoto, SIU gets its directive directly from the President. When it detects that there is a matter that it needs to be engaged with, the directive comes from the President. What we get is the invoice. So we don't determine what it is they go into, nor do we determine how much they charge. That is a matter that is prescribed by the Minister of the Minister of Justice, the Minister of Justice in conjunction with the Presidency. But we will be able to respond to that question when we sit down with the department and find out how much we have spent with the SIU investigations. But I must add that they have been absolutely essential for us. What we have lost in Guyana is indispensable for the people of Guyana who have been waiting for water. So we are grateful that we've made breakthroughs. They have made breakthroughs, and we are hoping to understand how in the past we were unable to deal with these matters. And the case as it unfolds indicates to us where we need to tighten up our scrutiny, where we need to restructure ourselves to protect ourselves from any of these things going on. In terms of the matter of monitoring and evaluation, we have restructured the department and we are putting in place a monitoring and evaluation component to ensure these things do not recur. But at the time that we appointed the team of former Minister Shabangu, we had appointed them within the context of a stabilization and efficient functioning of the water sector. So there was an investigative part, which is former Minister Shabangu's unit, and one that stabilizes the department and ensures that there is efficiency there. This was only allowed by the Minister of Public Service and Administration for 1 year. What we have now is the new unit that will be called Monitoring and Evaluation. Now that we've restructured the department and understood what the weaknesses are, we have that unit in place, and that unit will therefore be introduced to the Portfolio Committee as soon as it is possible to do that. We've identified what has gone wrong, we've identified what the weaknesses of the system are, and we're putting in place something to make sure that there is efficient functioning going forward. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Minister Sisulu and the former Minister Shabangu and the team for the response. Members, if there is no any other question or follow-up, I will take this opportunity to thank the Minister and his team for briefing us on the work that they are doing, or the work that they've been doing on the consequence management or disciplinary processes that, as the committee, we've been hammering on the department. And thank you very much, Minister, and your team for the good work. We we hope that we can finalize these matters and continue with our lives as a water sector, and put the systems that some of these issues should not come back to us again. Thank you very much. Appreciate your availability and your team. Thank you very much. Members, you don't have to leave. Let's break for 5 minutes, allowing the
Chair,
those
can I
that-
just, Chair, can I,
Okay.
1 minute?
Yes,
I want to thank the Portfolio Committee for its concerns and allowing us the space to come and report to them, and the support that we received from them. Later on in your lives, you'll be able to look back and say, we made that difference in that particular department. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you very much. Members, let's break for 5 minutes, stretch the legs as others were releasing those that wants to go, and then come back and look at the program. Thank you. Thank you. 5 minutes break, honorable members. Thank you, Minister Shabangu. Well done.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Susan. Data Masho. Hey, ke tsutse ke phio. Ke tsogile. O ira yang? Data Masho. Abana le tsela ko. Ba reng? Ba reng batho ba ko ke kana? Oh, that's good. Ba thusa tle, ha ona le tsela mo. E ba nyaka metsi, ha ona le tsela. Ba fisel di truck mo. Okay, ba fisel di truck wa we. Heba, matata mus.
Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members.
Recording stopped.
I heard from the news. Hello. I heard from the news that Nelson Mandela doesn't have water. And now they are going to put some tanks, Jojo tanks in whatever area, I don't know. But I just want to check from you, is it from the National Department of Water or is it from the municipality? Is Honorable Nancy around?
is the municipality must recirculate water. Inkinga ke is when sentence mandela ngithi phela amanzi awekho. So kumele
Yes.
desalination angisho.
Yes, I know, but it hasn't yet started, Mos. Has it started yet?
I doubt it did, but we resolved on it in the last meeting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And in fact, what I wanted to know, because I heard it from the news, where are these tanks?
Mamumpan,
Mm.
I think the
And how far is that? Are they starting the end of trust in actual fact?
the issue now, Mamumvana, it's the municipality that is addressing that. You recall that when we gave some tanks, it was because of the disaster and the emergency of COVID. Whereas we took over a role of the municipality because we're also wanting to show our intervention in the matter. Now, the tanks now are to be provided by the municipality.
Okay.
Remember, we as a department, we stopped the issue of tanks and we bought those big tanks to intervene, in particular in rural areas.
Okay.
Honorable Sefai, can we then reconvene? 5 minutes is gone. Can we get the Vyogazi to do? Vyogazi, do you have a program? Vyogazi? 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 She's not back. Vyogazi? Koliswa? Koliswa? Because I don't know where
is here with me. Koliswa is here with me at Pulukwan. So she hasn't. Yes, we're here in Pulukwan.
Doing what in Pulukwan?
Hey, public hearings, social development.
Oh, okay. All right. No. We were supposed to put the program. Let me say that the program it's as follows. We are opening on the 17th of August. I can't put it on the screen, honorable members. But what we are saying is that we are going to the first on the 17th. We'll then have a meeting with these are the outstanding matters that we have not completed with the previous program. The issue of getting the HDA to come and brief us on how far they have gone on the action plan, addressing issues that they've raised by the by the auditors, and then it will be on the 17th, and then we'll then consider the report, consider an adoption of the report of the third quarter report, the second and the third quarter report. You remember that we have dealt with on the on human settlement, and then on the 20th. Can I request that Mr. Mashiro, you mute on the 20th, which is Friday? We will then deal with the human settlement fourth quarter report. And then on the 24th of August, which is Tuesday, we'll then deal with the fourth quarter report of water and consider the adoption of the second and the third quarter report of water. And then we'll then have a meeting, colloquium, to look on the establishment of the economic regulator on Friday, the 27th of August. And then on Tuesday, the 31st, then we will then have the housing, social housing regulator on the policy of rental, and as members have requested. And then we'll then, on the 3rd of September, we'll then have the special unit, the SIU, to come, because we have agreed that we'll call them quarterly for them to brief us on how far are they on the cases that are affecting our sector. So that will then be those the what we'll be doing. And then then there is a constituency period from the 6th of September to 4th of October.
Recording in progress.
When we come back, we are then going to look at the annual report. The BRRR has been put, but we have not finalized the date. But what I want to request members is that we have outstanding matters of the water boards that we have not received we have not dealt with their annual reports. And then we have not dealt with their strategic plans and APPs, and there are 9. We want to request members that it's either we can do it in August or before we open, at least we get your 3 days. We deal with the annual reports of the boards, and then we can then, as we open for when we deal with the annual report of the department, then we can then deal with this, accommodate the plans and the strategic plans of the strategic plans and the APPs of the boards. So we want to request members to give us your 3 days, whether we scattered them, just apply 1 day in July or end of June, and then we then do the other one in July, the other one in August before we open, so that members must not feel that 3 days just to deal with the with the annual report of the water boards. Our portfolio committee is very big, and the days that we have in the system, they are very small to deal with the matters and complete. And I'm referring to only statutory issues that is required by law to interact with, besides those delayments that you'll find in the system where you call the department, you are not happy with the response, and you ask them to come back, or department delaying in tabling the annual report, or without those issues. Our days in the system are very minimal for us to deal with. I'm referring to statutory matters only. I'm not even referring to other issues that we're supposed to engage on meeting with our stakeholders, or now we have a bill which at some point we'll have to have a public hearings, and we have little days in the system. So these are the things that we're saying. As we pass this budget for this term, can we then have request members to give us your 3 days for us to deal with the annual report of water boards? Can I get members to comment on the program until the 3rd of September? And the request that we've put on place. Can I get members to talk to those issues? Honorable Tseke.
Thanks, Chair. I think we are fine thus far with your proposal. Yeah, whilst we want to interact with the annual reports or strategic plans of water boards, I'm not quite sure what are the specific dates, because surely you want to use the constituency period or 3 days within a constituency period to deal with the matters. Maybe if we can identify those dates so that we can work around them as we all committed in terms of the organizational work and other constituency work. So, but generally the program is fine. We agree with it. Yeah, but just to identify those dates for water boards. And yeah, I think I'm fine, Chair. Generally.
Chair?
Chair, I don't know what's happening with my gadget. Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable Sikhwai. So,
thank you, Chair. I also want to agree on the views raised by Comrade Grace, but I think the last one is what perhaps we need to relook on it based on the organizational responsibilities that we're doing now, so that we don't clash, and also we should not agree with you and then we absent ourselves in those programs. If it could be clarified in terms of those dates so that one is able to agree on the mind. You are raising something, Chair, that I may not have a knowledge of it when you say these are only, what did you say?
Statutory.
Yeah, these are statutory, Mamumvana, that you are raising. I had a view that we had a decision to visit an oversight in different provinces, which has not happened, in particular Eastern Cape. I thought perhaps that could also be accommodated. It may not be statutory, Chair. Yeah, first. Thank you, Sir.
No, thank you very much, Ma'am Sky. You'd remember that we're supposed to have gone to Western Cape first before and then goes to Eastern Cape. So they'll still be on the pipeline. What we are talking about is the issue of water board, which their term ends in June, like municipalities, and then their their budget starts at 1st of June or 1st of July, which we have not dealt with. So, and we have not dealt with the annual report. That's what we are saying. Can we have your 3 days? I'm trying to open you the calendar, whether we take in July or August. Because I know that for now, some of members, they are very busy with the constituency work. Whether we take the
I was going to suggest July, Chair.
July,
because August will be very congested with programs and other things. If you can look at July month.
Okay, July month around, can we then say we take
that 3 days that we are talking about?
Okay, from the 6th of July to the 8th of July. Is it
July.
fine with members?
Yes.
From the 6th of July to the 8th of July. Can we agree on that?
Agreed.
Agreed. So we'll then, from the 6th of July, we'll then deal with the annual report. Annual report of water boards.
Water boards, yes.
Yes. And then can we then utilize it, because these 3 days we can then utilize effectively, because they are 9, it will then be 1 day is 3. If we take 2,
3, 6, 9.
No, because we'll take them 3.
3 each day, yes. 3.
Yes.
It will be 3, 6, 9.
Yes, 3, 6, 9, which will be, and then we can have on Tuesday, the 2nd of July, we can then have the meeting in the morning and in the afternoon, and then we then end up on the 7th in the morning. Then we will have been done with the annual report, and then we can then another 1/2 a day. We then look at their strategy, their APPs and strategic plans. Can we agree on that?
Agreed.
So I want to explain it so that members should not say I'm pushing them, so that we understand it properly. We said in the morning we get 3 from 9:30 to 1 o'clock. We get 3 boards, and then we reconvene again, whether from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and then the following day we have 9:30 to 1 o'clock. Then we are done with the annual report. Then in the evening, 6 o'clock, we start with the strat plan of the 3 board. The following day, in the morning, we take the 3, and then in the afternoon, we take the 3. Then we're done. We're done working on the reports.
Agreed.
Yeah, we understand, Chair. But can't we agree at around the second meeting should not be convened that late? It's 1800. We don't have plenaries, by the way. Maybe propose 4 or 5, or maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 1700.
1700
or
members
1600, somewhere there.
Can we agree, honorable members?
1600, Chair.
1600. We adjourn at yeah.
So we take at least 16, 30, 17, 18.
17,
yeah.
18, then we're done. So it's 3 hours per presentation, and then we're done. Yeah. Okay, no, thank you very much, honorable members. We can ignore the one for October. We're still going to work on it. I didn't see this part. Barkamang Vuyokazi. Vuyokazi, can you
Yes, Chairperson.
take down the program? The one for the October I've not seen it. Let's look at the ones that I've seen it until the end of constituency period.
Okay, Chair.
Take it down, not up. Sorry, up. I'm sorry. Yes. So that is a program from the 17th of August to the 3rd of September. That's what we are agreeing on. We'll bring the program from after the constituency period back to members from October, because we'll then be expected to deal with annual report. Then we'll bring the program back to the members. I've not seen it myself. Thank you very much, honorable members, for your time and your availability for this meeting. Thank you very much. The meeting is then adjourned.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
But this is unfair. My hand has been up.
Recording stopped.
No, I didn't see it, Honorable Mashiru. Honorable member, sorry. Sorry, I didn't see it, Honorable Mashiru.
No, majority has decided. I wanted to propose that we have a meeting on the 9th of August.
9th of August.
Abba.
9th of August.
Yeah.
Abba. Abba. Chidi. It's a man's day. Is that a man's day?
Ay, man, the
man's day.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Thank you.